Hi, everybody. This is day 1,829 days since Richard was forcibly removed from his barracks room there on Fort Bliss in El Paso, Texas, and then his life was taken. And we have August 4th, 2025. August 4th. This was back in 2020. 5 years ago, 5 years ago, and we've been doing this, fighting this battle, because we have been so lied to. And I titled this live stream more of the Democrats, you protecting their power, going, just like what the Republicans would do. I'm sure. I don't know. They play different games, but um, and now the calling for their arrest. None of this had to happen like this. The Republicans in Texas have control of Texas, but they are infiltrated. They are cartel aiders and abettors. These are really neocons or whatever you call them. Clearly, they have been profiting off of the criminal trafficking and all the connections with that, the contracts and all of that. We know that because we have been writing them for years. Uh, they absolutely know what's going on in Texas. They know what's going on. That's their job, to know what's going on in El Paso. They know what has been going on, starting with, this is bigger than Iran Contra, and they know it, and so this whole thing with redistricting, um, it needs to happen. It absolutely needs to happen because um, a lot of people have moved into Texas, but the way they're going about it is um, it's it's just so it's for the media. It's for the media, and I think it's to distract from what's going on at the federal level with Attorney General Bondi calling for a grand jury now into the Russia, the accountability that is step by step moving forward. Um, with pushback, it's like two steps forward, one step, three steps forward, one step back. It's really, really a battle to move the ball forward. If you like a football, it really is. It's like a football game, and you have to move it forward, and you have to do it in four downs. You have to do it in four downs. Otherwise, you lose the ball, right? You lose the ball. This is really, a great analogy of what is happening with this. And of course, we try to stay very, very focused. It's sometimes pretty difficult to stay focused. And of course, our focus is to let the people know, because we are a government of the people, by the people, and for the people, to let the people know that we need their help. We want to inform them. We want to earn their trust. We are putting out the evidence that confirms what we've been saying all along. The evidence that is sometimes very hard for people to wrap their heads around, and they don't even realize, they don't know what to do about it, right? When you have this large of a cartel infiltration that is backed by the CCP, and they've got our beautiful state of Texas. I mean, they have other states too, but Texas, of course, in this case, in our son's case, is very important. But Texas is, anyway, it's right there, the front door of the United States. It's the front door of the United. El Paso is the front door of the United States, and it's far away from Washington, D.C., and so far away from the rest of the United States, so that they can. Um, when you have a base so big like Fort Bliss with White Sands Missile Range, so big like White Sands, Um, it really isolates El Paso. It isolates that front door, and it is really a haven for the criminal trafficking and the infiltration and the military contract frauds. There's just so much fraud, waste, and abuse um, around all of the government control that has been infiltrated by the cartel and the CCP um, in this criminal trafficking network. And it is absolutely cross border. You see that with the latest news coming out about the narco tomb, right? The narco tomb, the piles of rotting bodies at this dumping ground in Juarez, just a stone throw away from El Paso of Fort Bliss. And it is connected to Purchase Funeral Homes, which the lawyer of that is Bill Hicks. Bill Hicks, yes, the former El Paso 34th Judicial District Attorney, the district attorney that served for 2 years, but he served illegally. He was a usurper. He did not sign the anti bribe line before he took his oath of office, which made everything he did null and void, right? Null and void. He was absolutely an illegitimate district attorney. And we understand that now why he did that, right? Because he's a lawyer for Purchase Funeral Homes, which is a Mexican based funeral home that was given the privilege to operate in El Paso. It is cross border, and they have betrayed that privilege. They have absolutely betrayed that privilege with the sacrilege against Corpus Christi. And what do I mean by that? By letting bodies just pile up and rot. In a place that doesn't have a sign, no, the oversight, okay, so this pretend oversight that never happened. I mean, how can you have hundreds of bodies in the middle of a city where the stink is so bad? Um, just piled on top of each other, right? These rotting bodies, dating back to when Richard lost his life, um, and Nadal Baim said that his remains, he was dead, and his remains were in Mexico. Um, these rotting bodies piled on top of each other, it just toxic, absolutely toxic. I even wrote a poem today with help, but I wrote this poem today and posted it up. Um, I'll even I'll even read it for you. I have it in my notes here, and I think that that's really important. Um, a lot of news today. So much news. Um, Lord have mercy, Christ have mercy, Lord have mercy. O body broken, not by holy right, but dumped like trash where the vultures wheel. No priest, psalm, or sanctified twilight. No numbered tags or tape to mark the real. What devil's feast? What devil's feast was this? No bread, no wine, just flesh wrought to silence, to dust and blood. The killers kneel to no divine design. They knead the earth in pies of toxic mud. Yet still the desert winds sing, Desiree, Christ's sword shall sever quick and damned, and God himself reclaim what beasts had banned, and God himself reclaim what beasts had banned. It's not pretty. It's not pretty at all. Um, but it is, the update for the forensic teams that are going into this body dumping ground now. because they've discovered through the X-ray machines, their ground X-ray machines, penetrating, whatever you want to call it, that there are many more. This is just a tip of the iceberg. That hundreds and hundreds are not sufficient to be the official counting of this cartel body disposal site. Um, it's far worse, and that the agency that was supposed to do oversight with this is the mother, led by the mother of Mauro Campos, the Chihuahuan governor. So this is a family thing. It is, really monetizing. Um, it's fraud in the monetizing of the dead, and it's a sacrilege because of the way they've treated these bodies. They have no respect for God, no respect for life, no respect for family members. This is absolutely crimes against humanity, and there's a real shakeup because of this. And this is seems to not be a new theme in the news that we're reading. This is like a repeat of um, other ranches. This is you can say they call it a 2.0, but I think it's a much bigger number than a 2.0. I think this has been a fraud perpetrated over and over again. It really, uh, there's something wrong with the government and Mexico for the cartel to be able to get such a handle in such a despicable, evil way. They must not, well, they don't have the death penalty, and maybe they need to have the death penalty, because the cartels sure have the death penalty. They don't blink an eye in disrespecting human life, and they don't do it justly. They don't do it justly. It's just always a power play for them. So this is uh, really troubling news that the forensic teams are going in because they have now confirmed that there's far more of these bodies that are unidentified, and there is a chance, there's too big of a chance to ignore this situation, that our son's remains, our partial remains, are there, could be found there, and because you have the direct connection with Purchase Funeral Homes, with Bill Hicks, who was supposed to be investigating our son's death, and it tells you why there was no movement. He was doing nothing except for aiding and abetting Purchase Funeral Homes, um, their criminal activity. And then, of course, you have El Paso Chief Medical Examiner Mario Raskin Ortiz, who's from there. His family is in that business over there. And you have U.S. Army Major Solomone Nusa. He's the mortuary operations at the time, who's the brother of one of the prime suspects in the murder of our son, uh, who was a CID agent, Tavita Nusa, but he lost his badge. He had his badge terminated in 2021. So, and of course, they're family members uh, with Lalani Hart, with Dallas Hart. They direct connection with Nadal Bayim also, and all of his ability to move bodies across the border, to move weapons and ammunitions across the border. And you see that they're protecting each other. This group, they're working together, clearly protecting each other. Whether they're friends or not, they are absolutely in this um, group criminal group together, network together. Thank you, Natalie, for coming on. Thank you for sharing so much. We have been noticing that, and we love you for that. It's that is how we pressure and move. You see that the government leadership, it doesn't matter if they're red or blue. They are only led by what the people pressure them to do. They have to be pressured into acting. And so, and that is, thank God for social media. People always talk bad about social media, but it has absolutely been what has kept our son's case, alive and out of cold case, and has also been the means of collecting so much information from people that have shared with us. And of course, we've then went and looked for the evidence, but the tips and everything, we really appreciate it. And then the sharing, letting everyone know what's happening at the border at taxpayers' expense. Don't forget, this is not just a crime against Richard or our family, or even against the military, or even against El Paso, or the borderland area. This is all done at taxpayers' expense. The hundreds of thousands of children trafficked through Fort Bliss, that is absolutely confirmed, and that was all paid by taxpayer funds. This USA to bury unidentified migrants, Jane Does and John Does. That is all paid by taxpayer expenses, and so uh, it's very important for people to know what's going on, and because with the prices of everything today, people need their money. They need their money. They don't need to give it to a government that's going to give it to criminal endeavors, right? So, what's happening now in Austin? It is like chaotic. It's so chaotic. It's so disgusting. And the Democrats like, oh, but we're the ones that give oversight and this and that. Baloney, baloney. The Democrats, they are absolutely aiding and abetting the criminal trafficking. And I hate to say this, a lot of Republicans are too. And now the redistricting, because the people themselves have spoken. The people, this is a government of the people, by the people, for the people. They have voted overwhelmingly for a conservative agenda, for an American agenda, for a Make America Great agenda, and that requires redistricting because so many people have moved into Texas. Things have changed. Things have really changed in the last just couple years. It has changed drastically in Texas. And so for them, for all of this kabuki theater, it's just that they could have the Republicans having so much control, they could have all got this done at the very beginning, but now here they're waiting at the end. I don't know. It's just uh it's going to be interesting to see because now Governor Abbott, who absolutely knows that the DPS for the Western District director, Jose Sanchez, is compromised, right? Is compromised. He himself was caught with a very, very elite person, a very elite person with a lot of control, compromising him, infiltrating to absolutely, there's no doubt in our minds with her connections. Uh, you know, um, let's just say um, she's uh, that handsy stuff right in the middle of a parking lot. Anyway, it's something that needs to be investigated, right? He needs to be investigated. And so, but Governor Abbott is calling on DPS to arrest these Democrats that, um, you know, hightailed it out of Texas. And I don't know how he's going to arrest them. I don't know how he's going to arrest them, but um, you know, um, uh, it's interesting that they move so quick. Even Ken Paxton with issuing arrest warrants, right, for this power play. Uh, but, for all the proof, there's so much proof with the judges and in El Paso that are illegitimate, the DA's illegitimate, the medical examiner illegitimate. You have the confession of Leilani Hart to the worst type of crimes against children. And where are the arrest warrants, right? Where is the outrage for the Walmart mass shooting? Confirmed orchestration of that terrible crime, terrible bloody crime. And we have given it to, so when it comes to real justice, they, I don't think they care about that. They don't care about that. What they care about is power, and they want to force with power the redistricting, and of course the Democrats would lose their positions. This is a power play, so they're going to protect it, and if they have to issue warrants of arrest to protect it, they will, and that would be okay if they would issue arrests for other injustices, right? For other dereliction of duty, for other, um, um, uh, what for not giving us honest services, right? Depriving us of it's called deprivation of honest services. I mean, when you have judges that are not even legitimate, that's a deprivation of honest services. The medical examiner, same thing. The chief of police for the El Paso ISD, same thing. These are all people that need to be arrested for their crimes over and over again, especially the deprivation of honest services at taxpayers' expense. So, yeah, it's very, very interesting, this double standard, right? This very double standard that they, will issue these warrants of arrest to preserve power, to get power. But that real justice, doesn't seem to interest them too much unless the people recognize the injustices and call for it. And that's where you come in. That's where we need your help. And our job is to do the investigation, to identify the crimes, to document the crimes, to file the crimes, and then to report on the crimes to you so that you will know. And, that was never my job beforehand, right? That was never my job. And because of the attacks that our family have endured, it was just best for me to be the spokesperson for our son's case, and so I've had to learn how to voice in an understanding manner, put out the best way I can for everyone to understand through music videos, through memes, through poems, through postings, constant. And that needs to be edited constantly to make sure that we're giving you accurate information, because because we need your trust, right? We need your trust. And we hope that over 5 years that we have earned your trust. We've been right all along, y'all. We've been right all along. Um, with the Walmart mass shooting case, with Joe Spencer, with Nadal Baim, with Leilani Hart, with El Paso, Ernest Christopher Grant. Thank God he's been arrested. Thank God he's been arrested. He absolutely vile and vulgar person, absolutely did so much criminal harm. So we've tried to put it out there as best we could. And of course, there's so many shadow bannings and words you can't say. And then you have a lot of attack dogs that will report you falsely, and you have to fight that. And we had thousands of followers on TikTok. Um, and, it, it just, we're just doing the best we can. And all the help that you can give us is very, very appreciative because we're very close, y'all. We're so close. And of course, I've been saying that for a while. And you think, wait a minute, um, uh, it, wa- what happened to yesterday, right? What happened to yesterday? Why haven't they given you Richard's remains now? You have all the information. You said it was coming. Yeah, but it is like a football game, right? It is like a football game. Right now we have the ball and we're moving it forward. And but sometimes there's a fumble, sometimes there's a pushback, and it just you just have to stay very, very focused, get the plays in order, and move it forward again. Move it forward until you reach the goal. And of course, our goal is to get our son's remains. And that you see through the Trump administration, uh, that they even unveiled to the public this narco tomb, this cartel tomb, this disposal ground, this rotting body dumping ground, whatever you want to call it. It's not a grave, okay? It's not a grave because these bodies weren't even fully covered. They weren't even fully buried. They weren't even buried. Some of them were in the hearse still, right? They were just piled in this house, and and now they're going to be doing some digging and that. None of that would have been revealed without President Trump winning the election because of you, because of the people of this country that voted him in. Um, and now with the $1.2 billion staging ground on Fort Bliss, bringing in the feds, the ICE, um, because if you have paid attention to the people that we have exposed, you will see that they're family members, that they have been through human resources placed there in El Paso, that this has been absolutely families. Um, Working together in this criminal trafficking network, with the FBI office there, with the CID office there, with the IDES Pueblo for the VA fraud, there in the El Paso ISD and the A&R Chavira Auto Group with Bob Moore of El Paso Matters. And of course, El Paso Matters is um, with El Paso Times and El Paso, then you have KTSM with Danae Katzen, who's married to uh, uh, 14380A, fugitive. They're fugitives. Um, Jay Ambrose, Jonathan Ambrose, um, and then you have the whole Nadal Bayim. I mean, you just we just posted it. It is shocking. They control the federal courthouse and the DA's office and the MAG court judges and the medical examiner, and they're all connected through family and family ties. And, um, it, so you need the federal staging ground with people that do not know these people, do not have loyalty to Veronica Escobar, do not have loyalty to Mario Raskin Ortiz or Jesus Neto Jr. or Texas Tech Dr. Melissa Mendez, who's the wife of FBI dirty agent George Toros, and on, right? That's not part of the Solomone, the Samoan cartel group, right? Um, i- we need these people in to give us accountability that don't know uh, um, that can't be blackmailed, right? Hopefully not. Hopefully not. So it is really accountability is in El Paso now. It is absolutely here. When they approved $1.2 billion dollars for that staging ground for quote unquote deporting migrants, it's much more than that, y'all. It's much more than that. $1.2 billion dollars is not 100 million. It's not even 200 million. It's not even 500 million, right? It's not even 700 million. You're talking about a lot of money, a lot of money. And that is absolutely a staging ground against the cartel operation in El Paso. There's just, that's what I believe. Maybe I could be wrong. We'll see. We'll see. But we've been right all along, all through this. And we're going to stay focused and move forward to get our son's remains, which means that the cartel have to they have to be compliant, right? The only way they're going to be compliant is if their power is destroyed. If their power is destroyed, then they'll be compliant. They have to plea deal then. And we're getting that from El Mayo. We're getting that from El Chapo's son. And you see the inner fightings that is happening right now in the cartel. But we absolutely know that the military, Solomon Onusa, with the Hearts, with Mario Raskin Ortiz, they absolutely know about Richard's remains, right? So that's our goal. And then the accountability for what they did to Richard. That's our goal too. And of course, Lieutenant General Sean Bernabe, he's in real trouble because he has absolutely met the threshold for committing treason. Absolutely. And many others. I mean, treason is the hardest one, but many others. So eh, you know, eh, and there's others that he's not the only general in this. So um, we absolutely have done incredible, incredible things to move the ball forward, to get justice for Richard, and to leave El Paso a better place. Leave El Paso a better place that can thrive. That has absolutely is our goal too. So thank you so much. Thank you, Anicia, for coming on as always. Thank you for, here on August 4th, 2025, just a day after the 6 year anniversary of the Walmart mass shooting. Um, I should read off all of this stuff with Nadal Bayim, and I think I'll do that. Um, Tomorrow I will absolutely do that. It just really focus on knowing that your voice is far more important um, than what we even realize. And so call um, Governor Abbott's office, leave a message, right? Call Attorney General Kim Paxton office, leave a message. They work for you. They work for you. You don't work for them. They work for you. And call your representative, right? They have to redistrict, and they're not going to like it. They're not going to like it. It's going to be a huge battle. So thank you so much, and we will be back tomorrow.